Can you guys hear us?
We got you now.
Okay, there you go. We're called a meeting to order. We'll do a roll call, see if we have a quorum.
Roll call. Commissioner Alejo.
Here.
Commissioner Cromines.
Here.
Commissioner Gorley. Commissioner Leffel.
Here.
Commissioner Lopez.
Here.
Commissioner Oglesby.
Here.
Commissioner Orozco.
Here.
Commissioner Parker.
Here.
Commissioner Poitras. Commissioner Poitras. Commissioner Snodgrass.
Here.
Commissioner Stevens.
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
Thank you. I would ask Commissioner Leffel to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, if you would, please.
I will do that. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I will now ask for public comment. Public comment is now open. Do we have any public comment? And just say it in the mic. So.
Maria, you're present?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'll correct our attendance. Thank you. Are there any public comments on the agenda? Are there any public attendees? No, there is no comment.
This is Commissioner Lopez. I see Commissioner Gorley is over on the attendee side. If we could have the whoever's managing the Zoom pull him over to the panelist side, that would be great.
Okay, hearing and seeing no public comment, we will close public comment, and I would ask the Commission's attorney to read us into closed session.
Good afternoon, Chair and Commissioners. We have 2 items this afternoon going to closed session. Let me take off my mask so I'm clear. Pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9, subsections D1, the Commission will confer with legal counsel regarding existing litigation, California Native Plant Society versus Fora, Delray Oaks, and LAFCO, and that's filed here in Monterey County. And the second item is pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9 D2. The Commission will confer with legal counsel regarding one matter of significant exposure to litigation.
Okay, I will ask, is there any public comment on our closed session items? Is there any, you see anybody requesting public comment on our closed session items? Seeing no one, hearing no one, we will close public comment on our closed session item, and we will move to our closed session. And the members will stay on your Zoom, and you know how to go to the closed session area. All right.
Actually, Gail sent 2 invites, and we asked that the commissioners sign off of this Zoom and sign into the other Zoom invite because we have to go upstairs, and it's a different Zoom room, a different Zoom. So log out, log into the other one, and we will be upstairs in about 5 minutes.
Commissioner Poitras, I just want to let you know that we do have you on our panelists here. We just will wait until you can unmute so that we can hear you, but you can hear us. Thanks.
He's only getting a message that says you have been muted by the host and cannot unmute yourself.
I think we'll just read it in and we have resolution vote, so you're not voting on anything for the next 3 or 4, 5 minutes. We'll keep on working. Are you ready? Just tell them we'll.
Commissioner Poitras here. Finally, it seems to work.
Oh, great. We hear you. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, I couldn't get through. I just kept repeating, you have been muted by the host and cannot unmute yourself.
All right, you're in now. We're going to.
All right. Thank you. Sorry for the inconvenience, but I couldn't make it work.
No, that's fine. You're perfect. We're going to come back from closed session. I'll ask the city attorney to read us back in. The commission attorney to read us back in from closed session.
Thank you, Chair. There are no reportable items from today's closed session items.
Thank you. Now we will go to special business 2. Item number 2, adopt a resolution in appreciation of Commissioner Joe Gunther. The recommendation is to adopt the resolution. I will read it. In a resolution from the Local Agency Formation Commission of the Monterey County, Resolution 2008, in tribute to the legacy of Mayor/Commissioner Joseph P. Gunther for dedicated and outstanding service to LAFCO. Whereas Commissioner Joe Gunther served with distinction on the Local Agency Formation Commission from 2013 through 2020, working with selfless devotion to encourage the orderly growth of local government agencies, to preserve agricultural land, to discourage urban sprawl, and to assure efficient local government services. And whereas Commissioner Joe Gunther provided leadership and encouraged public participation with his gracious warmth and fairness, touching many lives and hearts throughout the public service that spanned decades in times and vast accomplishments. And whereas the Commissioner desired to honor the memory of Joe Gunther by publicly recognizing his contributions to LAFCO, the City of Salinas, the people of Monterey County, and the nation. Now, therefore, the Commission hereby expresses heartfelt gratitude and appreciation to Commissioner Joe Gunther for his legacy of service to the public and improving the lives of others, and to his family for sharing him with us all. Signed August 24th, 2020, Salinas, California, Ian Oglesby, LAFCO Chair, Kate McKenna, Executive Officer. Thank you. And if there's any words any commissioners would like to make, we're ready to adopt the resolution.
With great sadness, I move to adopt the resolution. Commissioner Poitras.
I'll second that.
I second.
It's been properly moved and second. Is there any commissioner that would like to take a couple seconds to say something about Joe?
This is Commissioner Lopez. If I could, Mr. Chair, I know we've gone through a lot of celebrations of Joe's life, but never seems like quite enough is his seatmate down at the end of the dais. You know, it was one of the things I look forward to, was the banter with Joe at our LAFCO meetings. He'll be greatly missed, and I know that there's efforts underway to name some buildings after him in the city of Salinas, and that's more than appropriate. And just want to share my condolences once again with the family. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone
The
else?
only thing I can add, Commissioner Poitras, is there wasn't anybody, I've known nobody as great a cop as he was, and I knew him as such, and he was also a great politician and a grand mayor. I'll miss him.
Anyone else?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, Supervisor Alejo, I just wanted to thank the Salinas City Council for voting to name their, they voted to propose naming their new police station in memory of late Joe Gunter. They opened it for a 30-day public comment period, but it will come back for finality. But I think that that's going to be an appropriate place, considering that he spent 32 years of his career in law enforcement for the Salinas Police Department. And I think that's something that so far I seem to have a lot of community support, that the new police station that he fought for will be graced with his name. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, I'll just take 30 seconds. I don't see anyone from the public. Anyone from the public out there? Do we have any public?
Are there any public comments?
Okay, here then. I'll just take a quick 30 seconds. I want to say again, like I think Commissioner Lopez said, there's been plenty of times for us to say wonderful things about Joe, but if you get an opportunity to say something about him, you can only say wonderful things, and that's what I want to say now is, I don't for him to be, the county seat mayor and for him to look out for all of the cities was remarkable for me. And so that's what I knew of him, and that's how he approached me. Is I looked at him, he would advocate for all the cities. And he just didn't Bigfoot any of us. He always encouraged all of us to do the best we could, and he definitely made sure his city worked with the rest of us. So that's my fond memory of him, and I know he encouraged me to be on LAFCO. And so I'm sitting here today because he mentioned it to me, right away when I was elected mayor. So I appreciate him for that. And I want to say I appreciate Supervisor Alejo, because I think he was the first one I seen mention naming a building after Joe. I'm sure other people may have talked about it, but I know he's a big leader in that area. So I appreciate Supervisor Alejo, because someone like Mayor Gunther needs and deserves buildings named after him, because that's the leadership that the community needs to see that went through Salinas, went through this county. So I appreciate all of you guys. All right, we'll call for the roll.
Roll call vote. Supervisor Alejo?
Aye.
Cromines?
Absolutely.
Gorley?
Yes.
Leffel?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Oglesby?
Aye.
Poitras?
Absolutely.
It's a unanimous vote. Thank you.
I want to say absolutely myself. I should have said absolutely. All right, good. We'll go to special business number 3, which is administer oath of office for appointment to city member regular Commissioner Christine Cromini for the remainder of the term ending on the first Monday in May 2023. The recommended action is LAFCO Chair Oglesby. I will read the oath of office. And so, Christine, I'm sure you can hear us, so stand up.
I can hear you, and my screen is actually, it will not let me turn my picture on.
No, that's fine. Just stand up and raise your right hand, and I have to remain sitting down because I have to speak into the mic. But do you, Christine Cromani, solemnly swear that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, and that you take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which you are about to enter.
I do.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next, item number 4, administer the oath of office for appointment of city member alternate to Commissioner Maria Orozco for for a term ending in the first Monday in May 2024. Maria, are you there?
Commissioner Orozco? Commissioner Orozco?
Mr. Chair, if I could, I think she might be also on the attendee side of the meeting with the last 3927 of the phone number. I believe that might be her phone number.
Yes, you're correct. She is
Okay.
on that side.
Maria, can you hear us?
Hello?
Hello,
Hi, Maria.
Maria, are you ready? So, okay. Do you, Maria Orozco, solemnly swear that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, and that you take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, that you will well and faithfully discharge the duty upon which you're about to enter?
I do.
Thank you so much. We'll now move to consent agenda. The items on the consent agenda, the consent agenda. Item number 5, approved draft minutes from June 22nd, 2020, LAFCO regular meeting. Item number 6, approved register of checks for June and July 2020. Item number 7, accept reports on anticipated future agenda items and progress report on LAFCO special studies. Item number 8, authorize the executive officer to approve a time extension for the Miramar extension to the City of Greenfield, LAFCO file 19-02. That concludes the reading of the consent agenda. Is there any item that wants to be pulled by a commissioner?
I'll move approval of the consent.
Second.
Been properly moved in second. Are there any public comments? Hearing none, seeing none, we'll bring it back to the council for a roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Commissioner Alejo?
Aye.
Commissioner Cromine?
Yes.
Commissioner Gorley?
Yes.
Commissioner Leffel?
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez?
Aye.
Commissioner Oglesby?
Aye.
Commissioner Poitras?
Yes.
Unanimous vote. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move to item number 9, continue public hearing from June 22nd, 2020 to consider resolution on the dissolution of Fort Ord Reuse Authority, LAFCO file 18-06. Executive Director.
Thank you, Chair and members of the Commission. This report will be provided today by our analyst, Darren McBain.
Closer.
Can you hear me okay? Okay, here we go. So thank you. This item, as you recall, we were here in late June to hold a public hearing on for dissolution. At that time, it was recommended, and the commission opted to continue the public hearing, largely because at that time the FORA transition plan was still a work in progress, had not yet been acted on and finalized by the FORA board. And at that time, we were also concerned that there was some language that was being proposed by FORA staff and council that was seeking to, in our view, improperly shift substantial FORA liabilities and obligations onto LAFCO. With those matters having been adequately addressed and resolved, the FORA board has approved a transition plan, a final 2020 transition plan that did not include those passages and provisions that we were concerned about. And that was in late June. Since then, I think the main thing that we wanted to convey to you today is that it's been a pretty successful, I'd say very successful process of transitioning former FORA roles and responsibilities to the local agencies, the cities and special districts. That process has gone very well, according and according to how things were planned and set forth to proceed under the transition plan. As one important component of those roles that have been taken up by the local agencies in accordance with the transition plan, one important part of that we just wanted to point out is that the County of Monterey and Regional Government Solutions, the consultants to FORA, RGS, have been working closely to administer the administrative wind-up, final actions, implementation actions related to dissolution of FORA. That process has been going very well, and LAFCO staff has been in touch with the county and RGS, coordinating with them on an ongoing basis. In terms of litigation matters, LAFCO does remain involved in two matters, one regarding the Resource Environmental and the other one, the California Native Plant Society matter. As we discussed in the staff report, as you know, staff is working diligently and in discussions with the parties with the goal of resolving these matters in a timely fashion and in an adequate and responsible way. So bear with me just a second. We do have one change that we would like to discuss with you today. It has to do with a whereas section in the resolution, which is the attachment to your staff report today. This is on page 4 of the resolution. In the middle of the page, we have a section in the draft resolution dealing with addressing matters related to the city of Delray Oaks and the South Boundary Road and General Gym intersection improvements. Before you on your screen, for those of you who can see it, is the wording that we included in the draft resolution that went out in our packet. Just one moment here. Okay, I'm trying to get at this tab that's under my Zoom meeting info. Okay, here we go. Well, So one update that we have for you today is that we this afternoon received an email from Dino Pick, the city manager of Delray Oaks. He provided us with some correspondence laying out the city's perspective on this section of the resolution that I just mentioned on page 4. So Mr. Pick had asked that we enter this information into the record, and I don't think it would be good use of. I probably shouldn't go through and read this verbatim, but he's essentially presenting the city's perspective on the 4 matters, basically the substantive matters of the California Native Plant Society lawsuit. And basically some of this information that we received from the city is not entirely consistent with how we had presented LAFCO staff's understanding of the facts and the context related to items 1 through 4 in the current, or in the draft that we had placed in the packet. So based on this information, what we're recommending is some modified language, which I'm going to bring up in just a moment here. Okay, so this language that we're recommending as modifications to these 2 whereases in the resolution are basically just making the recommended language in the resolution a little more general, a little more directly related to the exact wording that's in the transition plan and the memorandum of agreement between FORA and Delray Oaks. And we have just we've shortened and streamlined the section to keep it a little more general. And so we are recommending that this revised language here in the strike-through and underline version become a part of the resolution that we are recommending for your consideration this evening. And with that...
But Darren, I'm not able to see your screen. Are you sharing it and I'm just not seeing it?
I believe I am sharing it. Hopefully others are able to see that.
Yes, I can see it, but I can't read it. It's too small.
Can you enlarge it?
Marianne, are you watching this on an iPhone or a iPad?
I'm on a laptop.
That's much better.
Yeah, that's...
Okay,
I
so
can see his cursor, but I can't see it.
So we've presented some revised wording here. Actually, I should clarify also that at the very top of this, related to the dollar amounts, that is based on some input that we received from the City of Monterey staff in the last day or so, just with some clarifications about the dollar amounts. And then the main area of the revision here is where we're saying in that last sentence that FORA has designated the City of Delray Oaks as a responsible successor agency, and pursuant to language in the MOA, the City of Delray Oaks will accept assignment of the roadway improvements contract from FORA and shall timely and fully carry out all responsibilities as lead agency for the improvements, the road improvements, that is, in compliance with all applicable laws. So that's wording that we took directly out of the MOA, and we, at this point, we think it's best just to have this section of the resolution capture and memorialize the verbatim language from the documents, and just to kind of keep it simple with this revised wording. So we're essentially recommending that sections 1 through 4 that were presented in the draft that's in your packet, that those be taken out, and that we just go with this language that is shown at the top of the screen.
So is it a safe assumption that Kelly reviewed this?
Yes, this language has been reviewed today with our general counsel. Just in conclusion, I was just going to wrap up by saying that as discussed in our staff report, we are, and as I mentioned, we are engaged with the county and RGS in terms of the administrative windup, and we will continue to keep the commission informed of when and if any substantive new information comes to light. And with that, I believe that's all I have for you this evening, and we'll be here for your questions.
Okay, thank you. We will open the public hearing and receive any public comments.
Are there any public comments?
We have a hand up from Lane Long. Lane Long, we see that your hand is up. Would you like to speak?
Are you speaking to me?
Sorry. We saw that
no.
Lane...
Somebody else. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, Lane Long's hand was up.
Yes. I just wanted to speak to LAFCO's role in oversight of the completion of forward tasks, specifically between the county and RGS. We wanted to make sure that in the resolution on page 3, it talks about money that was set aside from the blight removal bond for a CalPERS obligation fund, $4 million. And if there's any additional monies in forward checking accounts or bank accounts that come forward that should be applied to that payment of that CalPERS obligation, which then will free up more money towards the blight removal bond, which is all part of the forward transition plan. So we just want to make LAFCO aware of that role and responsibility, and if there's any issues with that, so they please let us know.
We appreciate that. Yes, we do appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, is there anyone else for public comment?
Sherry Damon's hand is up. Sherry
Am I
Damon,
good to go?
we can hear you.
Am I unmuted?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, members of the LAFCO board, I concur with Mr. Long, City Manager Long. My recollection is in mid-June, the FORA board specifically required that all unallocated funds be directed to the CalPERS obligation or the CalPERS liability. So it was to go 115 trust funds, and then if there was any additional liability, the bond monies would be directed to it. And there is a FORA resolution, I believe, on it that was from their mid-June meeting, specifically on unallocated funding. And that concludes my comment. So I would like LAFCO to follow that direction by the FORA board.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Any other public comment?
Gail Morton's hand is up.
Yes. Is it my turn? I'm sorry.
Yes. Ms. Morton, please it's your turn to speak. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you. This is Gail Morton. I am Mayor Pro Tem from the City of Marina, and I served on the Fort Ord Reuse Authority Board and involved in this transition plan for the duration of FORA closing down. And since FORA closed, there was an identification of approximately $2 million in an account that had not been brought forward before the board nor before the Finance Committee on which I serve. But the intention of the entire FORA board was to ensure that all available funds were applied to satisfy the PERS obligation first. And what I'm trying to be sure is that this $2 million is applied to the PERS obligation and not used elsewhere. The ramifications of that is that the bond money would be available for our blight removal. The provision in paragraph 2.1.6 referring to other funds being diverted to the county was limited to those things that were petty cash, undeposited checks, not funds that the finance director had not provided information to the board about, not funds that had been misplaced in the accounting process as $2 million. So I am trying to be sure that LAFCO, who participated in the sense of being present at every one of these transition meetings, reviews those meetings and the intention that was articulated by the board members and by staff at these meetings. So I echo what Sherry Damon, City Attorney for Seaside, Len Long for the manager of the City of Marina, and I am asking you to follow the spirit and the actual decisions that were being made and recognize that $2 million was always intended to satisfy PERS. Thank you.
No more hands from the public, but we have a hand from Jane Parker.
Okay, hearing no one else from the public, we will close public comment, and then we have questions or comments from commissioners. Commissioners, I understand Commissioner Parker would like to go.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, I question, but before I get to that, I'd like to just say that I agree with the comments that have been made about the assignment of any surprise funds, shall we say, or leftover funds that they go to the PERS obligation. The interest of the FORA board that you will remember from discussions there was that the FORA board was very interested in making sure that the maximum amount of money from the bond issuance for building removal was available for building removal. And so this, the $2 million that has shown up would be a significant amount of money to offset the money that was going to come from the building removal funds. So anyway, just to agree with those comments. My question about the proposed change in language to the section having to do with Delray Oaks and the California Native Plant Society. We've heard from Delray Oaks, we've heard from Monterey. Has the Native Plant Society said that they're comfortable with these changes to the language in the resolution?
Supervisor Parker, this is Kelly Donlin, Council. I have had some conversations with Council for CMPS. I guess the best way to paraphrase what she stated to me was CMPS would be comfortable with the language in your packet if Delray Oaks would agree to that language, which Delray Oaks has not agreed to. So to that extent, I'm not sure of CMPS's position on the language, the updated language in front of you tonight. I think there are some disputed issues that are still out there, and they're going to have to be subject to the litigation that's ongoing. I did forward this updated language to Council for Delray Oaks and CMPS, and I didn't hear anything from either of them, and they both were fully aware that this meeting was going forward today, starting at 4. So.
Okay, thank you. I would just say on LAFCO's behalf, I wouldn't be comfortable making this change at this time. I really want to have a little bit more time to understand this use of the language. I think LAFCO may be stepping into the middle of the dispute between Delray Oaks and the California Native Plant Society by doing this. I'm not sure, but I just would not want LAFCO to be putting ourselves into a more risky position from a liability standpoint without really double checking. So that's just my, and I'm happy to talk with you more offline about it if you like.
This is Mary Ann. I'm agreeing with Supervisor Parker, but I'm agreeing I cannot see the screen. I've had something read to me that I haven't had any opportunity to review. It appears that everybody wants to sue everybody else. Now we got $2 million that's being talked about that we have not heard. And I heard a veiled allegation that our employees were there in the room while that was all being discussed. Therefore, maybe they should understand. So I would like to pull this item and take it to next month. This has been going on for years, so I can't imagine that another 30 days is going to kill us. And I'd like a chance to review all of the language that is being suggested that you all can see that I can't, and that we have a closed session on this before we vote on it, where we could ask some questions of our executive director and of our attorney.
I'll second the motion.
Yeah, Commissioner Poitras here. I'm at a disadvantage as well since I'm on the phone and can't see the proposed language changes. I believe I understand since I'm looking at the resolution itself, but I'm in no position to make a decision, a final decision on this at this point. So I would agree with Commissioner Leffel and suggest we table this until next month or next meeting.
Any other comments? No other comments. Marianne, was that a motion?
It was, yes, thank you.
Probably.
Mine could be considered a second. If not, I'll second it.
No, I got you on a second. I just want to make sure she's clarified. It's been probably moved in second. On the question? No question, no comments. Any comments from the public?
No hands.
Before you call the vote, can we ask our legal staff, Kelly, what the implications are for the delay?
I don't believe there will be any implications. I think holding off another month would be helpful, and that was another conversation I had with counsel with CMPS. She's been pretty involved with helping family members evacuate, and with the fires and everything going on, I think it would be helpful to the public to just continue this for a month, maybe get this particular language squared away, put in the packet for next month, and then we can move forward.
Thank you.
Okay, before I call for the vote, I was sitting on the floor board when this happened, and the priority was to fund PERS. So this 30-day delay should be able to give staff time to research that and give the other entities time to clarify their positions. Call for the roll call vote.
Roll call vote.
Aye.
Commissioner Alejo,
Aye.
Commissioner Cromines,
Yes.
Commissioner Gorley,
Yes.
Commissioner Leffel,
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner Oglesby,
Aye.
Commissioner Poitras.
Yes.
All ayes, unanimous.
Okay. Thank you. We'll move on to public hearing item number 10, consider an update to analyst hourly rate and the LAFCO application process fee schedule. Executive Director.
Thank you. This item will be presented by Analyst Jonathan Brinkman.
Good evening, Chair Oglesby and other commissioners. In following with LAFCO's adopted work program, the executive officer has reviewed LAFCO's current application fee schedule. The purpose of conducting the review was to make sure that LAFCO is reimbursed for the actual costs of LAFCO's services. The review concluded that first, that the current analyst billing rate of $125 per hour, which was established in 2008 for time spent on processing boundary changes and other applications, should be increased to $165 per hour. It also concluded that no change is recommended to the application fee deposit amounts or other provisions in the fee schedule. The proposed change to the analyst hourly rate would not change LAFCO's practice of providing preliminary pre-application coordination services at no direct cost to applicants. LAFCO's annual budget would also continue to cover the cost of preparing studies such as municipal service reviews and sphere of influence studies when they coincide with LAFCO's annual work program or periodic review schedules. So the only change recommended today is an increase in the analyst hourly billing rate for application processing from $125 to $165 per hour. This is a 32% increase since 2008, which is in line with the Consumer Price Index for the same time period. Attachments to the staff report include the draft resolution as attachment 1, which includes the single change of the hourly rate. Attachment 2 is a calculation of the costs for the hourly rate change, proposed change, and attachment 3 is a comparison of the hourly rate with other LAFCOs. And the range of other LAFCOs' hourly rate for the analyst is between $85 per hour and $199 per hour. So this proposal is in the middle of that range. And further note is that the notice of today's public hearing was posted in the Monterey County Weekly, and the notice and the draft of the staff report were distributed to individual managers of special districts, cities, and the county 10 days ago, and no comments have been received on this item prior to this hearing. And that concludes staff report.
Thank you. I will now open up for public comment. Public comment is now open.
We have no hands raised.
We have no hands raised at this time. No hands raised, seeing no one. We will provide questions or follow-up discussions by commissioners.
This is Commissioner Leffel, and I fully support this. I know what things are costing these days, and nothing is inexpensive, so I believe that this is the right move.
Anyone else? Hearing no other commissioners, I will close the public hearing. And what is the will of the commission?
I would move that we adopt this resolution.
I'll second.
Lopez seconds.
Commissioner Poitras. He's faster than I am.
Yes, he is. It's probably moved in second. If there's no questions from commissioners, we'll do a roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Commissioner Alejo. Commissioner Alejo. Commissioner Cromines.
Yes.
Commissioner Gorley.
Yes.
Commissioner Leffel.
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez.
Yes.
Commissioner Oglesby.
Aye.
Commissioner Poitras.
Yes.
We have all ayes with the exception of one. Thank you. And it's a majority vote.
Okay, thank you. We'll go to new business. Number 11, consider report of 2020 business item for the California Association of Local Agency Formation Commissions. Executive Director.
Thank you. And Darren will present this staff report.
Sorry, just a moment. Thank you, Mr. Chair, Honorable Chair, members of the Commission. We're just retrieving a copy of our packet. Essentially, as you know, the conference, the annual conference has been canceled this year. At this point, there does not appear to be any prospect of any sort of virtual or remote event. There is the possibility of a remote business meeting of LAFCO, which has not been determined yet. We do have a couple of items before us today for the Commission's consideration. One of them has to do with selection of a regular voting delegate and an alternate delegate. And in addition, I know we'll get to that item at the appropriate time. We do have an item for the Commission to consider in terms of whether there's any interest for commissioners to serve on the LAFCO Board of Directors. There are a couple of openings in this region, and that is also an option for consideration before the Commission today. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the commissioners? Hearing none, taking it out to the public, or real quick, any public comments? Seeing no blue hands, hearing no one, bringing it back. What is the will of the commission? We have two issues: designate regular alternate voting delegates representing LAFCO at the annual Business Matters. Any volunteers? Is anybody? Okay. I guess I'll throw my name out there as the chair. I'll represent you guys. So who wants to be the alternate?
I'll be your alternate, Ian.
Thank you. Go ahead, move that motion, Marianne, if you would, please.
I move that Commissioner Oglesby be the delegate and Marianne Leffel be the alternate.
Poitras, second that.
Thank you. It's been probably moved in second. Public comment, hearing no one. Bringing it back, it'll be a roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Commissioner Alejo.
Aye.
Commissioner Cromines.
Yes.
Commissioner Gorley.
Yes.
Commissioner Leffel.
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez.
Yes.
Commissioner Oglesby.
Aye.
Commissioner Poitras.
Yes.
All ayes, unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you. We're to item number 2. Consider nominations for county and district member seat on the Cal LAFCO Board of Directors. I know Commissioner Parker, I believe you still sit up there, so what are your thoughts if we want to nominate anybody or renominate anyone? Oh, we lost. Commissioner Parker?
Commissioner Parker.
I can speak to that.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, Executive Director.
Okay, thank you. As you all know, Commissioner Parker was elected by the Coastal Region to serve on the Cal LAFCO Board of Directors, and she has done so for at least the last 2 years. As she is retiring this at the end of this year from the county supervisor's position, her seat will be coming up. And so it's really at the pleasure of individual commissioners as to whether they would like to put their names out there, both to run for her county seat on the board and or for a county special district member seat on the board. There is currently a special district representative from, I believe, Contra Costa County, and he may or may not run again for his own seat, so we're not sure yet if that incumbent will be running. But the commission does have a history of serving on the commission, on the Cal LAFCO Board of Directors, not necessarily year in and year out, but there has been quite a steady presence overall over the last 20 years. But it's also fine if the commissioners want to give it a rest for the next year or so. So thank you.
Any questions or comments from the commissioners still on the still at the meeting?
Nominate Chris Lopez.
I'll take it.
Was that giggle?
I'll second that.
I was going to take the giggle as a second. It's been properly moved and second. Seeing no public comments open. Seeing no hands. Hearing no comments. Public comments closed. Bringing it back. Roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Commissioner Alejo.
Aye.
Commissioner Cromines.
Aye.
Commissioner Gorley.
Yes.
Commissioner Leffel.
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez.
Yes, without the giggles.
And Commissioner Oglesby.
Absolutely yes.
And Commissioner Poitras.
Absolutely, giggles or not.
All ayes, unanimous vote. Thank you.
Thank you for your service, Supervisor Lopez. Executive Officer.
Thank you, Chris.
Represent.
Yes. Executive Officer's report, Madam Executive Director.
Thank you. Your agenda item number 12 contains three announcements, and I have no additional items to report on. Thank you.
If there's any questions or comments from the commissioners. Okay, now we're at commissioners' comments.
Well, excuse me,
Go ahead,
Mr. Chair. I would like to underline the fire study recently conducted by LAFCO and draw everyone's attention back to it. It couldn't be more timely than it is right now, given what's going on in this county and the entire state, for that matter. And I just resubmitted in effect for further consideration and attention.
No, that's
and
a
this
good
is Commissioner Snodgrass, and I'd like to pile on that and request that when it does get on the Board of Supervisors' agenda, if the Executive Director could let us know, because I think this is really a problem topic that our county needs to address.
Executive Director.
Thank you. We will certainly let our commissioners know when this item is scheduled for a presentation to the County Board of Supervisors. Also, I'd like to inform you that this morning I had the pleasure of participating in an invitation by the civil grand jury to discuss LAFCO's role in the county. And I took that opportunity to highlight for the grand jury members some of the options for consideration and the key findings presented in that report. And they were quite interested in that topic, of course. So, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Any other commissioners? Commissioners' comments? We are at adjournment. Do I hear adjournment?
So moved.
So moved.
Thank you. We're staying at adjournment.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.